admit that they were told by the family not to say that we can't afford it. And that there was at least one child who got on the bus and went, even though he wasn't paid up, and ended up by getting sent home on a different bus.
Wow, so all kinds of interesting topics here. So first I would certainly absolutely tell you that we're committed to making sure that the trip is available, accessible for all kids, financially, academically, or behaviorally. As you would expect, we do have some standards, that we'd like the kids to meet academically, behaviorally. We're even talking about that even as we get into the early stages of planning, making sure all kids are successful so that they can go on the trip. With regard to the financial aspects of it, we are very, very sensitive to when we first send out the initial survey, are you going to go? The students who choose, I'm not going. We very discreetly, behind the scenes, contact the parents directly, and we absolutely assure them that we can help, and we're committed to help. With regard to the Project Adventure, I would tell you that I had those conversations. The one particular incident that you do point out, we paid for that trip so that child could go on that trip. So there was some scholarship money made available through our Student Activity Fund to support Project Adventure students who could not pay complete tuition or part of the tuition, so we work it out. Very similar to what I'm sure the athletic department must do with the athletic fees. I mean, there must be payment plans, there must be things worked out. That's what we do.
I use the terminology infinitely diligent, and I understand, I'm an engineer, I understand the word infinite, right, and how determinate that is. But I think that we need to be particularly diligent, which I think is a better perhaps way of saying that. We have changed our goals this year to make these kind of events as a part of the curriculum and as paid for by the school system, not by the parents separately. That's a goal. We can't do it today, but it's a goal, and I think that that's what we are trying to move toward as we move ahead on these trips.
So
I would endorse that plan.
yeah. Are we ready to make a motion then? We have enough information. Yep. Okay.
I'm not gonna make a motion to, I'm sorry, I just completely blanked out.
Approve.
I'm sorry, I got married last week, so I'm a little tired. To approve the Washington trip.
And the
alternative trip to Salem and local area.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Thank you, and thank you, John, for being sensitive to our desire to have a trip.
John, if somebody wants to make a donation, where would they make that donation to?
We'll be putting out word through, when we advertise it to the big parents, anybody that would like to help us with the scholarship fund, that's absolutely, they make the, check out the middle school. Yeah, I'm sorry, for the middle school, anybody that wants to help us with the DC trip, absolutely, we're actively soliciting donations as well as volunteer chaperones.
Next, John is going to summarize for us the library survey.
Okay, I know you're on a very tight schedule.
We're on a tight schedule.
You want to just...
We want the short thing.
Okay, you got it. So we're going to do the student aspirations.
Not to glaze over this, but the Youth at Risk Task Force has gone through the data and will continue to go through the data.
Okay. Student survey, My Voice survey, we administered to the middle school last year for the first time. This is kind of what it looks like, two-sided survey based on a 5-point Likert scale. And the data is very, very interesting. The more I look at this, the more I glean out of it. Let's see if we can get the technology. Student aspirations is a term that's based on the work of Dr. Russell Coelia, and he runs the Student Aspirations Institute. It's located in Maine. the idea, the thing that really attracts me to his work is that it's very practical, very easy to understand. It's based on this definition that aspirations, the ability to dream and set goals for the future while being inspired in the present. And wouldn't we like to inspire all of our students to dream, set goals, and to reach for those goals in the present? So that's really what this whole idea of aspirations work. It has an awful lot to do with the school climate and the conditions that you set forward for the learner. And it's based on these 8 criteria, the survey, and the 4 main headings. We like the idea of students having self-worth. They belong. They feel like they're part of the school community. They can relate to at least one significant adult that can mentor them and help them to learn. The idea that they can accomplish academically, socially, personally. They feel like the sense of accomplishment is important. Active engagement in their learning. The idea that they're fun and excitement about learning. They're curious. The spirit of adventure as they're in that process of learning. And of course, the purpose. The idea of taking responsibility and leadership for the decisions and the goals that they set, and the confidence to take action. The survey, again, is 56 questions, 7 questions under each one of these topics. My Voice survey measures students' perceptions of reality. Now, we understand that middle school, high school students, their sense of reality may not actually match reality, but however, when you have to take into consideration, based on their perception of reality is really based on how they react and how they behave in our schools. So that's something we really have to consider. Their point of view is a very important part of our conversation. So here's an example. Teachers care about me as an individual. What do students consider as care as opposed to what teachers consider as care? So that type of different perceptions of reality. The most important part of this is if we can bring students into conversations with teachers about their perceptions, then you get some very insightful information. The data that's produced by this is just baseline numbers. They just represent a starting point. The good news is that we have taken the time to ask our students about their feelings and thoughts of their school. The high school, as you know, this year is also going to administer the My Voice survey. We will be administering it again. So we're going to try to build the data year after year. The 8 conditions, we need to consider that these are ideals. We would absolutely like all of our kids to have the sense of belonging. We would like them to be curious and creative. We would like them to have confidence to take action. So when we look at the measurements, we're looking at them against ideals. What it would be under perfect conditions, and we're going to slowly build school climate towards those ideals. So, first major heading is self-worth. Under here you have the sense of belonging. So we look at students in North Reading Middle School, and we take some of the questions, either the 7 questions on the survey that relate to belonging. And so you begin to look at some very interesting things. Certainly, school is a welcoming and friendly place. Well, across the board, the results are pretty similar. Then you jump down to, I am proud of my school, and all of a sudden, you only have 38% of the student population is proud of their school. You look at, I think bullying is a problem. 51.2% of our students agree with that statement. One of the things I'll mention about the way the data works, on the Likert scale, you have 5 choices. You have strongly agree, undecided, disagree, and strongly disagree. When they look at the percentages, they take just the students who either agree or strongly agree. So the numbers are pure. So of all the students, 611 students who answered our survey back in March, 51.2% totally agree with that statement that bullying is a problem in our school.
Just one question, and then this is the other one, Mrs. Black, this was written right here. On the proud of my school thing,
Yep.
how much of that is related to the facility that
Okay.
the school is in?
A minute ago, we talked about students' perception against their reality. We're gonna look at specifically this question and the bullying question a little bit later on in the student focus group.
Okay.
And that's where we bring the adult perception with the student perception together, and we try to gain the insight. So we're gonna give you some more information about that. The other thing that you wanna notice is the difference in the responses to grade levels, grade 6, 7, and the differences between the male and female.
John, the other thing on the bullying, I noticed in grade 6 it's 67%, but it goes down to 38% in grade 8. That's a factor, obviously, of the younger kids coming to the school. for
The
first
kids
time.
coming into school, you know, all energetic about middle school, and slowly but surely they grow tired.
That's a huge.
I don't know. The idea of heroes, significant adult that they can to be mentored and can connect with each other. The idea that the respect questions here are very interesting. You have the teachers respecting the students, you have the students respecting the teachers, and you have students respecting each other. And what you'll see in the national surveys, it always comes out to be exactly the same thing. The teachers respect the students. This is student perception. Students respecting the teachers, and interestingly enough, the lowest percentage is students respecting each other. The idea of sense of accomplishment. This is an interesting one. I give up when schoolwork is difficult. Very low numbers. Kind of lends itself to the fact that students are diligent and they stay on task even when it gets difficult. Good grades, getting good grades is important, right across the board, all in the 90%. Tests are important, 70%. Teachers recognizing students, all the same. But when you get into this one here, it says, I have never been recognized for something positive at school, very low numbers. The idea of being actively engaged in learning. I enjoy being in school. 39% agree with that statement. The numbers over here again, very low. Less than half. Dips in grade 7. Look, did it just change? School is boring. Over 50% of our students are not really having a lot of fun and excitement. Teachers having fun at school. In the eyes of the students, teachers are not having fun at school. Learning can be fun. Again, dips down there.
I find it really interesting that males are much lower about enjoying being at school than females. I mean, I think a lot of this data that the difference between males and females is gonna be very interesting.
Very interesting. Curiosity and creativity. What I learned in school helped me in the future. Strong feelings towards that. I'm encouraged to be creative. Teachers present lessons in different ways. Again, all pretty strong scores. Spirit of adventure. Again, they're all pretty strong here, except that I'm afraid to try something if I think I may fail. I see myself as a leader, they do, but other students see me as a leader, they don't. Again, that respect question, their self-image as when they're dealing with their peers. Interesting one here too. I know the goals that my school is working on this year. Sense of purpose. This chart tells me our students are very optimistic. They believe they can be successful. They know